Hel- Hello guys, I'm back. I'm just came back exactly at the race start, but I didn't want to disturb your race start announcements and everything. It seems that it was already eventful from the very start, from Swoosh Strider and Six Nine. That seems to be the case. Yeah, that's for sure. Sometimes when the traction control is off, if you don't misjudge the start, you can easily lose the car. Sometimes it all comes when it comes to the original qualifying lap. Not just the qualifying lap, but the formation lap, where you need to warm up the tires as efficient as possible without warming up them too much or not warming up them at all. So if you have cold tires, you would be very subject to spin. If you have extreme hot tires, you would be again subject to spin as well. So you just need to find that sweet spot in order to have the start as efficient as possible. Yeah, it seems that he has gone into the pits. So probably he had contact with a driver, potentially, and therefore he had to change the wing. Because you don't go into the end of lap one, changing for the tires already without having any damage. Yeah. I think he joined in the quali during the mid quali. He was always there, he said, but he just didn't know how to take control of the car. So yeah, he banked a lap, I think, just for good measure, and he ended up in P12. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that because unlike un, but unlike the real Formula One thingy, where the off-track thing serves as a harder ground in order to deplete your tires more. For the game, it is the complete opposite. So literally, you have a complete open space that you can really take the maximum out of the car, the maximum out of the track limits, and of course, if you make that simple mistake, bam, instant warning or instant penalty. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I think if I was Amalinzag, I'm at the best position at the moment because this is a track where it consumes a lot of ERS and it takes time to recover that. So by standing there, just following FIFA player, taking that DRS and harvesting that ERS for a later stage, I think he is in a current best position. In fact, he is not using ERS at all at the moment. And he is also not using the slipstream of FIFA player. So he's basically depleting FIFA player completely in terms of ERS so that he can jump in at the right moment at the right time. And I'm also noticing that FIFA player has already low fuel levels. So that means that in the end he would need to lift off big time unless there's a safety car. Yep. It seems, of course, there are only 14 drivers on the grid, so the chances of the safety car are pretty much low. And this is also a track where the safety car is not the biggest friend of, because if you make a mistake or spin out like Chris F1 just did, the chances are that the safety car doesn't come out instantly, because there's time for the car to recover without having any damage, or if you have damage, you would really need to spin out big time in order to get the safety car out, which is highly unlikely, of course, because the track is so wide. Yeah, I think he is for a two-stop strategy. I don't think he had any wing damage. So I would believe that he got rid of the softs and he's doing a two-stop strategy with a soft, medium, potentially. Yesterday I have confirmed that for another time that the medium to soft strategy, the one-stop strategy, works in France as well. And you could get a huge overcut when it comes to two-stopper strategies if you take it very efficiently. But of course, one needs to take into consideration the drivers that really have a setup which depletes the tires quicker than other drivers. So if you are a really tire saver, a one-stop strategy is possible between soft to medium or soft to hards. I wouldn't personally recommend the hards in any track, because unfortunately for this game, the hard tires are simply not a choice. You lose a lot of time, track position, and everything else when it comes to 50% races in this game under the hard tires. So I'm already seeing Ahmed Shaban on the hard tires. Not the best idea, but that's my opinion. Yeah, it could. Yep. Yeah. I couldn't agree more with that when it comes to the tire usage. So either a two-stop strategy, soft, medium, or a soft, medium, or a soft to medium only, or medium to soft. That would be the desired options when it comes to this game. I think that the effect of the hard tires are not as good as it was for the last game, for sure. For the last game, the hard tire in this track was OP, but for this game, I think it's out of the question completely. Yeah, because there's the undercut element, of course, from FIFA player and Gunsak and Razam Maffeo as well. So, of course, for each extra lap they do, they would have the potential of the long strategy of a one-stop strategy between soft to medium or soft to hard, but you would completely lose the position to the drivers that have made the undercut, like FIFA player, Gunsak, Razam Maffeo, these kind of drivers. Yep, for sure. And there's Chris F1 in the middle as well, so he could win some more time as well, unless Chris F1 has DRS to follow up through, but I don't believe that's gonna be the case. In fact, Amal Inzaghi is doing his best to clear off Chris F1 as quickly as possible in order to catch up with FIFA player. And I believe that Tongre is doing the same, getting side by side, but he backs off at the very last minute. So I would believe that in the following corners he would be doing his best to overtake Chris F1, with Chris F1 already empty on the ERS. Tongre, he doesn't have much more as well, but he had enough to make the overtake, and try to keep within 1 second of Amel Inzaghi, which is a crucial point at this track. Because if you don't keep that 1 second, you would lose a lot of straight line speed. And when you lose a lot of straight line speed, it means that you could need to deviate the strategy into a different strategy, which is hard in this track already, because we all know that this track is already hard in terms of tire wear. The soft tires usually last not more than 10 laps, and I'm saying 10 laps under my kind of tire usage, right? So usually between 7 to 8 laps if you keep driving efficiently. But oh, I'm noticing Contagion is already losing a little some places. Ooh. Yep, 100%. Yep, 100%. I mean, Ahmed Shaban is using that hard tire. I would expect him to finish the race on the tire, but at the moment he is losing so much time when compared to the other drivers in front. 100% he's losing at least 2 seconds per lap, and 2 seconds per lap out of 13 laps, which is a usual medium strategy run, it would mean a complete pit stop. So there's the point of not using the hard tires at all in this track, and in all tracks for sure. But as I said, the hard tires, I would expect them to last the whole race if you drive efficiently. The medium tires could last between 13 to 20 laps depending on the usage of the tire. Ooh. Yeah. A pointer just right there, a small pointer, is that turn 2, if you really mount the curb completely, your car will automatically spin. There's that little bump in turn 2 that would make the car very unstable. So you would need to kiss the curb only without really riding the curb completely, because if you ride it completely, just as BVB Ghost happened to him, he ended up spun. Yep, and they also had DRS as well in the process, so yep. Ooh, it's gonna be very close. Yep, 100%. 100%. Yeah, 100%. And in fact, Amel Inzaghi, I don't think he will overtake BVB Ghost in this turn, because BVB Ghost is taking the full advantage of having. Ooh! What an attack by Amel Inzaghi right there. Ooh! Lovely stuff. Spicy. Spicy overtake, but lovely. Whoa, I wasn't expecting that, to be fair. Yep. Yeah, 100%. Amel Inzaghi, I believe that he is that level between the Division 1 and the Elite Division, but we had a private conversation with him. He couldn't do Elite Division at any time possible because of his work, and we made an arrangement that he could participate in Division 1, because there are drivers who are not currently here, some other drivers like Nigel and other drivers, because I can't remember them all, that have the same pace as Amel Inzaghi, so why not? He could participate in Division 1, at least have fun there. Yep. He had to reinstall the game, who didn't do it in time, so that was unfortunate for Nigel. But yeah. Ooh. Ooh, yeah, I think if I was him, I would have gone onto the mediums, and I would have stayed till the end. 100%. They would last 17 laps easy. Because as I was saying earlier, the hard tires, I would expect them at least 25 laps. They could serve 25 laps without having any problem whatsoever. The medium tires could last up to 20 laps, but they would be shredded by then. I mean, 70 to 75% were, if not more. And the soft tires could last at least 10 laps. I mean, when it comes to the long-term strategy, to the long-term one-stop strategy, but they would last between 7 to 10 laps, maximum 11 if you really are a good tire saver. So why not a one-stop strategy could have been a good strategy. And Strong Sauce, I think he was on the medium tires, to be fair. So I think he took the safe gamble and he went on the hard tires. I think if I was him, I would have gone until lap 20. I would expect him to go for hards. I would expect him. I think he's following other drivers. Yep, and he goes for hard tires. Again, not the best idea in my opinion, but I think that nobody else is taking the long-term one-stop strategy as I did it yesterday. And we have a spinner. He's contagion, yep. Uh, they both did one stop yesterday. Yakats went from softs to hards, and Kimi went from softs to medium. And what happened was that at the very last lap, at the very last few corners, Kimi Matevs had 80% tire wear, and at that point his tires broke off, literally fell off the cliff. He had a puncture. But I think he pit it like a couple of laps earlier, so he could have gone a little bit more on the softs if he wanted, just one more lap, and he could have gone on the mediums and finished the race just the same, because he had the same pace as Yakats all along, despite Yakats being on the hard tires as long as Kimi. But Kimi, although he had very old mediums, he still kept up, and hence why it is not efficient to use the hard tires in this game. Yesterday I started on the medium tires because I had a very bad qualifying and I started in P16, so I took the long game. Yep, I went 20 laps on the mediums and the remainder of the 7 laps on the softs. And the mediums were 72% or 73%, the mediums, and the softs at the very last lap, last corner, I think they were 52%. But remember that during the race, as the race comes to an end, you have less fuel, and that means that the tire wear, in terms of proportionality of the tire wear, is lower than the case when you have a heavier fuel load and hence a heavier car, and hence also heavier pressures. Yep. Yep, 100%. Yep, they are reserving in Division 1. Unfortunately, Division 1 drivers have, for a reason I don't know why, they have dropped significantly, and Thankfully, there are a lot of interested Division 2 drivers to reserve in Division 1 in order to get a number of 14 drivers today. We were supposed to be 17, but again, there was Nigel with the game, downloading the game problems, and I think there was Council Wizard. Yeah. So there we have it. Yeah, there are also these unfortunate events, unfortunately, as well. So yeah, things happen, but we need to move on. Of course, there are other people with schedules, like you, like other drivers. There are drivers who drive in another race at 8 p.m. UK. So of course, given that we start at 7:30 p.m. UK, and I'm seeing Swiss Strider who has spun out, but I don't think he has damage, but he has cooked tires. But yeah, I mean, at 8 p.m. there are other drivers who drive in other leagues, and we need to respect that as well, especially because we start at 6:30 p.m. UK, and that would mean that they have little time to take a break, unfortunately. So yeah, we need to, of course, start on time. We can't wait for the drivers. Yeah, probably. It is a matter of keeping the right temperatures so that the tire wear is not as high, but at the same time you would need to be very consistent each lap. On the mediums, this is the trick. You can't go faster and faster each lap, or slower and slower each lap, because it means that you're making mistakes. You would need to find a good time. For example, 1:33, for example, 1 minute 33, and you need to keep within that range, 1:33, 1:32.9, 1:33.1, each and every lap. And that would mean that you're keeping the temperatures as stable as possible. Yeah, I tend to make long explanations, and I work in a place where writing emails are my bread and butter, so yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what happens is basically that when you remove certain assists, and this is again a league where we do not use any traction control, with the only assist, yeah, we don't use traction control, so it is prohibited, and the only assists are ABS, gearbox, and racing line. With less assists, the drivers tend to be more clinical and cleaner in terms of race pace, in terms of racing etiquette, and in terms of penalties as well, because they would know that if they overdo it, they would spin their car. So basically, the drivers are being more cautious overall. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, it seems it's gonna be an interesting battle in the end. It's gonna be a very interesting battle in the end. And it is not over yet, because again, there might be drivers who could try this long run, this long medium run. Ooh. Ooh, lovely. Yep. I mean, the soft tires don't last more than 10 laps. I mean, beyond lap 7, the 7th lap of the soft tires, they would literally fall off the cliff, and I'm telling you from experience. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, the medium tires would be the best tire choice at the moment. But as I'm noticing, there might be drivers like, and I'm gonna mention them, like Tom Gray, for example, because I know that he's kind of driving is not a two-stop strategy driver, but I mean, you'll never know. He could go for that long stint on the mediums. And again, as I said, they could last 20 laps. I have tried it, so he could take that gamble. As FIFA player is pitting at the moment, right now, presumably on the medium tires as well. Yeah. Or he could go for another 2 laps, so until at the end of lap 19, and he goes for fresh softs. Yep, 100%. If I was Amel Inzaghi, I would go slightly longer. Yeah, I would go slightly longer. And I don't know his driving style, so I can judge him 100%. But if I had to make a decision, if I was Amel Inzaghi, I would have stayed out. I will stay out. I would take the risk, because remember that the pit stop. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Because it's a risky thing, yes, I know, because you will have depleted tires. But remember that more or less, an estimate, the pit stop takes around 25 seconds. And 25 seconds is no joke when you drive very efficiently. When you drive very efficiently and you were, for example, only 23 seconds, sorry, 2 seconds behind the FIFA player who was in P1, FIFA player needs to make amends of 23 seconds plus another 3 seconds. That would mean 26 seconds, which is no joke. I would only pit if there's a safety car at the moment, which we have a spinner at the moment as well. We have Kent Agent who has spun out, but I don't think he has damage. Yeah, I think that between this lap and the next is whether he makes the decision to go for the softs, or if he stays out and stays till the end, until the very end, which I believe that the tires last 20 laps. He will be shattered in terms of tire wear. But if he's, for example, lapping, I don't know, I'm checking his end lap right now. What's his lap? Let's see. So it's a 1 minute. So it's a 1 minute 34. Oh, all right. So I believe that he's gonna go for softs again. Yeah. I think he's gonna go for softs. But yeah, Amel Inzaghi made a 1:34.1. So if he can manage between those times, the 1:34 thingy, all he needs to do is to keep it in that time, because the best time that the soft tire can do is a 1 minute 31. And let's be frank here, we can't assume that the soft tires will gain 3 seconds each and every lap, because they will deplete as well. So Imagine 7 laps, 3 seconds gain, there would be 21 seconds. Not enough at the moment for FIFA player, I think, to... Yes, it's just enough for FIFA player to maybe make amends against Samuel Inzaghi, but remember that FIFA player has medium tires. They do not do a 1 minute 31, but they could do a 1 minute 32.5. So he will not gain as much as anyone else thinks when it comes to this two-stop thingy. So this is the thing that strategists really think about. Oh, and Samuel Inzaghi is going into the pits. So I have contradicted myself. If I was himself, I would have stayed up, because that would be a guaranteed race win, in my opinion. Well, does he? Because he has 16 lap old hards, you know. He can go till the end. No, Kimi was on the mediums. Oh. Ooh. All right. Ooh. Ooh. I think that FIFA player is playing another strategy game. I think he's doing, I don't know, his intentions maybe were to keep within 1 second, but it seems that, or I'm noticing something else from FIFA player. Remember earlier that I said that FIFA player had low fuel level. He's still on low fuel level. So probably what he's doing is that maybe he's lifting and coasting big time. Probably. I'm noticing even when it comes to shifting for him, he's short shifting more than expected. So I'm assuming that he's taking care of the fuel load. And something that maybe not everybody knows, for this track, under clear weather like this, for each lap, you consume 0.05 extra fuel. So that's the calculation that one needs to take in mind. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%, 100%. I'm noticing Gunzak is having a battle with Razan Mafeo. They are very close to each other as well. They are in 7th and 8th position. Razan Mafeo having a slightly better speed, but not close enough. My apologies, Leone, my apologies. You can continue. Alright, I'm noticing that Leone Shiba has his game crashed, so I'm gonna send him another invite. Quickly, invite friends.